Somehow I have a 1-year-old. I don't really know how that happened. And to be honest, actually, by the time you're seeing this video, she's not 1, she's 14 months. What is going on? But in this video, I am going to be talking about 12 things I have learned in 12 months of being a mum. Bayla is our first child, and I absolutely adore being a mum and having her, so I'm going to be chatting about that in the voiceover of this video. But before we get too far, let's have a little look at what we are using and what materials we've got and what we are planning. So I am memory planning the week of the 6th of April, which is Bayla's birthday week, in my 7x9 Tilly Journals vertical 1-column no dot grid weekly. And I'm using a kit from Plannerface called Zoo Day with art by Clip Art Kits. This is an older format kit, so it was a bit more confusing to me because I'm so used to the newer format kits. But yeah, a little bit of an older format and doesn't have all of the glitter headers included, but that's absolutely fine. I used this kit because for her birthday we did go to Yorkshire Wildlife Park, which is a zoo. So yeah, that's why I'm using this kit. And I decided to use the birthday foil bundle, also from Plannerface, so that I sort of had that birthday link in there as well. For full disclosure, I do PR for Plannerface, so I get a discount for promoting for her stickers, but I do that because I genuinely love Plannerface, not because I feel the need to get free stuff, but it's a nice little pro. Also, another spoiler, so the last week I filmed on the wrong week, and then this week I also filmed on the wrong week, so I ended up sticking some pages together and adding in some extra pages because I just did not want this month to be in the wrong order because it was Bayla's birthday party and then her birthday. So yeah. Other things that I do have is I do have these sort of giraffe print underlays from my shop in copper foil, I believe it is, and I think it just pairs so perfectly with this kit. And then I have my stickers pulled out, my Plannerface reusable sticker album, as well as the scripts that I made myself. So I think that's everything that I'm using and things. So let's just quickly run through what happened in the week. Obviously, Monday was Bayla's birthday, and we started the morning with some family time. Bayla's cousins and my sister and parents came over. We had some presents and some play. Then we drove across to Yorkshire Wildlife Park. Bayla was quite unsettled in the car, but yeah, we had a good time walking around Yorkshire Wildlife Park. I carried her for some of it, but we put her in the pram for some of it. We saw all of the animals. Then we went for an afternoon tea in the sort of hex area where at the front, and she had her birthday cake, which we made into a rainbow because her bedroom is rainbow themed, so we thought that was cool. Then we travelled home and I played some Dreamlight Valley in the car. We had more gifts at home with Granny and Grandpa because my sister had gone. This was Bank Holiday Monday and my sister had headed back to work down south, so we had more gifts and some playtime before doing bedtime cuddles and milk. It was just a really lovely day. On the Tuesday, I had the podiatry appointment from breaking my foot nearly a year ago to get some insoles to try and help with my foot pain. Then just did some tidying. Bayla opened some more gifts. We did stories. Not particularly exciting day. On the Wednesday, again, did some tidying, dissociated a bit, had a nap, had my last session with Chrissy, who was my care coordinator from the perinatal team. I am not under secondary care mental health anymore, which is very exciting. On the Thursday, I was working on orders. I was off work. I can't remember. I think this was strikes. Let's not get into strikes. That's a voiceover for another day. But let's not go into the shitstorm that is going on with the BMA at the moment. But yes, these 2 days were strikes. Had worked on orders, both planners and stickers, and had lots of Bayla cuddles. And on the Friday, I was really struggling, but worked on some orders and had some play. Onto the weekend, I had some time with my mum after a bit of a situation, and long story short, Soshin lied about something to protect me, and it ended badly. And he's never knowingly lied to me before, and it was a horrible situation. But I'm not going to go into it further than that. But it's been affecting us ever since. Really, we are sort of kind of getting there, and we, have quite firm boundaries. I don't really want to go into it further than that, but yeah. On Sunday, my in-laws, so my mother-in-law and brother-in-law visited, had lots of play. Bayla was doing lots and lots of standing, and we had some family time, but I was masking a lot of the day because the argument the previous day / lie had really hit me. I don't want to go into it further than that, so we're just going to move on to 12 things that I've learned in 12 months of having a child. And some of them I probably won't expand on very much, and others I will, but we'll see how we get on. There's about 12 minutes left of this video. Well, no, there's 14 minutes left of this video, so we've got plenty of time. So the first thing is that I'm actually a lot more patient than I thought I was. Like, I'm quite an impatient person. I don't like things being inefficient. I don't like things taking time. But actually having a child, I've learned a lot of patience, because who would know that I will quite happily sit there and watch her try and figure out things that to us seem really simple, like where to put a block or what the shape of a block is and things like that. And I will happily just sit there and watch her work it out without interfering, because that's one of the big things, is like letting them learn rather than sort of taking over and showing them. That's meant to be really good for their development. And I am so patient, and I'm very patient when she is just wanting to feed, to sleep, and she doesn't want to unlatch, because that is a lot of my life at the moment. I'm still breastfeeding. Yes, I intend to breastfeed until my daughter doesn't want to breastfeed anymore. And yes, I am aware that could be years, and that's okay with me. She is still night feeding. She is obviously on solids as well, but most of her liquid still comes from me, and that's okay with me, and that will continue for as long as that's what she wants. But I will sit there for like an hour, 2 hours. Yes, I'll probably be reading or scrolling on my phone or playing Dreamlight Valley, but I will quite happily sit there and cuddle her for as long as she wants. And I don't think that's something I ever would have realised I could do and have the patience to do before I had a child. The second thing is really obvious in a lot of ways, and some people won't feel this, but for me, being a mum is the best thing that I have ever and probably will ever do. I feel ridiculously fulfilled watching Bayla do the simplest things. Like, I feel I struggled with depression a lot of my life. Not a lot of my life, but if you've been here for any length of time, nearly 3 years ago now, well, no, exactly 3 years ago today, I was in hospital in a mental health crisis. And I never thought that, like, I would feel okay again. And at the moment, yeah, I'm struggling with my mood a little bit at the moment, but I'm not depressed. I'm just struggling a little bit because I get so much joy and so much fulfillment out of being a mum. And it's just honestly the best thing I've ever done. And it might not be for everyone. I've always known I wanted to be a mum, like, for my entire life. I was always not sad I couldn't have a little sibling, but my mum would not have survived another childbirth, plus there were already 4 of us. Like, we didn't need more people in our household. But I've always known I wanted to be a mum. Like, I was a bit sad I couldn't have a younger sibling. And yeah, it is honestly the most fulfilling and best thing I've ever done, and I just want to keep doing it, and I want to keep being a parent. And I know I will forever be a parent, but I want more kids, and I know that for a fact. My husband isn't 100% convinced. After 2, we both know we want more than 1. He isn't 100% convinced after 2, but I can't imagine stopping at 2, because I can't imagine not having this fulfillment in my life. Like, yes, I'll always have it, because I will watch her grow and teach her and teach her and, like, learn from each other for the rest of her life. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, number 3 is actually being creative in any way or shape or form is my favourite hobby, and just having that creative time makes me feel like me. Lots of people lose themselves when they have a child, and I totally get that, and I totally get people that feel they need to go back to work to get something back for themselves. What I needed some space to be creative. Sorry, I am yawning. Tiredness is like, people joke that you don't know the tiredness of being a parent. Like, you don't know you're tired until you be a parent. But to be honest, I don't think it's any worse than, like, night shift tiredness. But I am tired nearly every day rather than just after nights. But, like, the actual tiredness I think actually night shifts I found worse. But anyway, as long as I get a bit of time once a week to be creative and do something creative, I still feel like my own person. I still feel like Tilly. I don't just feel like a mum. And yeah, that's quite an important thing to learn about yourself. Number 4 is that I still absolutely love my day job. I love being a doctor. I'm really glad I went through that situation and I went to medical school and that is my job. But if somebody said that I could have enough money to live without working, I would drop my job in an instant so that I could spend all my time with Baylor. There is nothing like, if financially we didn't need it, I would be off work still. But at the same time, I know that it's good for me and that having that job is good for me. And let's be honest, I am part-time. And that's part of my struggle with Tilly Journals at the moment, is because that is actually something that I can stop quite easily without dropping much income. And yeah, but I know I don't want to close Tilly Journals shop completely. But anyway, we'll talk more about that when we start looking at my quarter 3 goals, because I think a shop revamp is coming. Anyway, moving on. Number 5 is that I can be in any kind of mood. I can be miserable in any sorts of way. I can be furious. I can be angry. If Baylor smiles at me, like, it melts my heart and I can't help but smile back at her. Like, there is nothing that gives me as much joy as Baylor being excited to see me or smiling at me or running up to me. Oh, honestly, it is the best feeling in the world. And no, it is never going to be her job to emotionally regulate me. Absolutely not. That is not a thing. It's not her purpose in life to emotionally regulate me. But that smile, and yeah, I don't instantly like cheer up, but it puts a smile on my face and melts my heart. Number 6, so I've known for a long time that I have ADHD, but I've been masking more than I ever realised my entire life. And actually my ADHD makes things flipping hard. And I didn't realise before how much I struggle with focus and things like that until I had somebody who distracts me all the time, and how much that I struggle to like refocus on a task after being distracted from it, etc., and how much I struggle with inattention. I didn't realise how, like, I knew ADHD was having an impact on my life, but I didn't realise how debilitating it was until I had a child / was pregnant. And that's actually really common. ADHD often gets picked up in women when they're pregnant or postpartum because they can no longer mask in the same way that they used to and they have learnt to their entire life. And that is very, very much true for me. Yes, I am part of the diagnosed ADHD club, and I am not allowed, they won't put me on medication because I am currently breastfeeding, but I do now drink coffee when I'm having a particularly bad dissociation day, and that allows me to function better. I've actually had some today because I was just dissociating the entire day, but now I am recording a voiceover, so like that just shows that yes, stimulants work for ADHD. I've always thought like they just made me anxious before, but nope, not at all. Number 7 is, it's really cliched, and I know you'll probably roll your eyes, but you are only as happy as your most unhappy child. Like, if Baylor is unhappy, I want to fix it. I don't want to fix it. I have a need to make it okay for her. And I know that I'm not always going to be able to make it okay. There are going to be things that I can't fix. And that is so hard to accept. And when she's sore from her vaccines or because she's overtired, all I want is to make it better. And it is so hard to, like, if she's overtired. So yesterday she didn't nap at all. And it got to like 6 p.m. and she was so tired and she was just overtired. But I knew if she had a nap then, she wasn't going to sleep because she goes to bed about 8. Well, between 8 and 9, we put her down, usually, sometimes up to 10, because she is a terror for sleeping. But I just wanted to let her sleep, and I knew it was the best thing for her to not sleep, so she had a good night's sleep. And honestly, my heart broke for her because she just wants to be up and about and playing. And every time like she slightly tripped or dropped something, she'd get upset, and I just wanted, it's so hard when they're upset because all you want is to make it okay for them. Being a parent, number 8, is being a parent is flipping hard work. judging anybody for how they choose to raise their children, how they choose to feed them, what foods they want to introduce at what time, whether they have screen time, etc. As long as you have done your education and what you are doing is a genuine choice and you are not actively harming your child, do not judge anybody else on how they raise their child, because they are struggling. Yes, I know I said screen time is absolutely fine, and there's a lot of research at the moment being done into how screen time is really bad. I don't think all screen time is equal. I don't think using an app for education like ABC Duolingo is the same as being on social media. I don't think having a family film night is the same as being on social media. Let's not talk about the 16-year-old social media ban right now. I have some thoughts on it from both a medical and a life point of view, but we're not going to go into that right now because we don't have the time for it. But yeah, as long as you are not actively harming your child, let's stop judging people for how they choose to feed their baby. I can't imagine not breastfeeding. I can't imagine having to make up a bottle when Bela is hungry and not just whipping out a boob and shoving it in her face when she's upset to cheer her up. Like, I can't imagine doing it that way. But if that's what works for you, that works for you. You live your life. Like, you do what works for you and your family. As long as you're not harming your child, it's none of my business. Number 9. Birth trauma affects far more people than you'd expect. We had a pretty traumatic birth. I don't want to go into it right now. I don't know whether I've ever told my birth story on here, but I don't want to go into it. It was not great. I'm not going to go into it right now, but it was not great. And when I talk about it, there's bits of it that other people have gone through and other bits of trauma that other people have gone through with their birth. I'm not saying mine's worse than anybody else's or better than anyone else's, but I'm saying there is a surprising amount of people that do not have a straightforward birth. There are some that do, don't get me wrong, there are, but a traumatic birth for the parents is quite common and more common than you'd expect. Number 10, this kind of links back to my ADHD. I feel better when my house is tidier. I am not a tidy person by nature. I'm not. It stresses me out trying to keep things tidy because that's not how my brain works. Right now I'm sitting at a desk filled with things because I'm partway through many, many projects. But I feel better when I look around my house and it's tidy. And that's hard with a kid. But the way we do things is we always make sure to do a quick clean up before bedtime, before we go to bed. And I feel better looking around my house and knowing it's tidy. I never thought this was something that was true of me, but it is. Number 11 is that you might not feel that instant bond that everybody talks about as soon as you give birth. You might not look at your child and fall in love with them immediately, and that is okay. You are told you must feel that way. I didn't, and I know I didn't. I did know. Bela, obviously I said I'm not going into my birth trauma, but Bela did not cry when she was born. And me and my husband know that that is necessary. Like, we've both been in enough births as doctors to know that everybody relaxes when they hear that cry. Bela did not cry. She was making a respiratory effort. She was alive, but she did not cry. And all I felt when I saw her and heard her was, please cry. Please cry, please cry. That is all I thought. I did not get that bond. I didn't get it later that day when we had skin to skin. It took me a couple of months, to be honest, to feel the bond that I feel with her now, but it will come. It's hard. Lots of people don't get that immediate rush of, I love you so much, but that is okay. And number 12 is that parenthood is a constant grief of the child that is developing. Like, you will miss their newborn scrunch when they stop doing it. You'll miss their whole body hiccups. You'll miss them first time they roll. You'll miss them not being able to move. You'll miss them crawling everywhere. But you also have the most excitement and the happiness for the child that you currently have. And that's incredible. So they are my 12 things I've learned in 12 months of being a mum. If you have anything you'd add to this, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like down below, all that kind of jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!